IMT Conversations with Rhod Tecson. An incisive and sharp discussion of today's current issues. Ang pagpadayon sa duwa ka dekada nga serbisyo publiko. IMT Conversations with Rhod Tecson.
Philippines, good afternoon. My name is Rhod Tecson and this is IMT Conversation and IMT News. Kumusta sa aton nga mga viewers? Wala pasensya lang sa aton nga gamay nga delay bangod sa nga pila ka mga technical troubles nga aton sining nga ginhatagan sa pagtamod. This time live kaupod naton sa sining matinion direkta mismo sa bahin sang IPPO ang hepe kag ang aton nga provincial director si Police Colonel Gilbert Gorero. Sir, mayong hapon.
Yes, Sir Rhod, mayong hapon sa kapdana mo dira and of course to our watching live IMT. Mayong hapon. Thank
you so much sa sining oportunidad yung ginatag mo sa aton. May apologies no sa delay and at the same time nagapangayo mo ko sang pasaylo sa kakulit ni Eli parang mapapungko niya ikaw subong nga hapon but we are thankful and honored nga I know may mga command conferences subong apang kaupod ikaw namon sa sining mga tinion sir. Bala mo naman kung anong rason kung nga kita ang nagatinga gid nga malabot ikaw. This is all about the Claire Gergos case. Would you have an update after the command conference and pag-abot sa bag-ong regional director? May mga mahatag na bala kita sa publiko nga panibag-ong detalye na tuhoy sa pagsunod nato sa sining kaso?
Sir Rhod, there is no need of explanation. In fact, it's an honor and opportunity for me to be your guest. Ano bala ang isa kadungog sa ang isa public servant ma-interview live sa IMT Conversations with thousands and even millions of followers. The command conference that we have this morning, Sir Rhod, is more about our preparation for the incoming national and local election. At the same time, for the guidance of the Chief PNP. And so lucky indeed that we have our new regional director, the person, Police Brigadier General Pin Longbo, as he also do the first official command conference with the Chief of Police, regional commanders of National Support Unit and the regional staff, giving us their guidance in terms of program tracks.
Subot silingon sini nangin sentro sang command conference this morning ang preparasyon para sa national elections. Okay. Before sang Diergos case, diri kita anay kay this is something new. Could you tell us sa bahin sang Police Provincial Office sang probinsya sang Iloilo kung may mga na-identify na kitang areas, special areas of concern or hotspots to say the most sa palaabuton nga pagsugod sa campaign period, Colonel Gorero?
Yes, Sir Rhod, as of this date, as of today, based on the presentation of our Regional Intelligence Division, we're so lucky that Iloilo province is not yet included in either yellow, orange, or green. Amo na subong ang bago nato na parameters. When we say yellow, it refers to area with concern. And the orange would be area of immediate concern. And the red one is, of course, a problematic area. However, it's quite early for Iloilo Province Road to discuss and to have this consideration. Ang nakita natin kanina sa presentation, per report coming from our intelligence community, other than Negros, na ginatutukan nila, for the rest of Panay, wala naman.
Subot silingon ang Negros may ara, pero ang Panay wala. Wala kita sa kategory sa yellow, wala man kita sa kategory sa green, orange, and red.
Yep. Anyhow, this would be a weekly assessment and validation, Sir Rhod. We are not closing our statement. Okay, anytime from now, kung may mga kalatabo, possibly magsulot sa parameters of any color, then our intelligence community will not hesitate to include that. Excuse me. To include and categorize any municipality within the province. Just kung wala pa.
Okay, when you say yellow, anong silingon sini, Colonel Gorero?
Ang una ni ginatanaw natin si Rhod are those areas considered na may mga intense rivalry.
Aha.
Now, we are not yet considered, Sara, as there is an intense political rivalry considering na duwa ka the same apelyido ang nagapadalagan, and the situation this time is very different. Although kung may nakita kita ng mga incident na nagkalatabo that qualifies the parameters later on, probably pwede ni natin ma-recommend sa Rhod.
Aha.
And for the other municipality in the province, kita naman natin na wala man sa iba, 7 of them wala sa mga kontra. Kung may araman mga kontra, not previously may ara sila intense rivalry or risaan or bagayan during a previous election.
Aha. Sang last election, sang madunduman naton nga may patay amuning istansya, no? Last elections, if I am not mistaken, istansya. And subong wala sang indication nga makasulod siya sa any color of concern, Colonel Gorero.
I think, Senrod, the concern is istansya, but the incident took place in Balasan.
Galasan, yeah.
Nakulod na sa Ayaya.
Aha.
But accordingly, ang ginabasihan natin subong is the latest elections that we have. I think that transpired last 2 elections sa Rhod.
Yeah. Okay.
At, sa subong na panahon, nakita naman natin na iba ng mga personality ng kadalagan, not exactly the same person.
Aha. Okay. So you have mentioned immediately Sarah. Si former Mayor Tali Salcedo is running ang iyang hinablos, if I am not mistaken, si Vice Mayor Jess Salcedo, who will be joining us later, is also joining, running. And at the same time, ang incumbent, no, si Mayor Aying ang magapadalagan man. So, as of the moment, wala kita sang na-monitor nga mga movements nga makabig naton na may posibilidad sulod sila sa any color of concern, Colonel Gorero.
So far, Sir Rhod, with the prevailing situation this time, I think even myself is not convinced to recommend Sarah under immediate concern.
Aha.
Although we are not closing our statement, if both of them are cooperating, wala agad yung problema para sa aton. Ang ginaobra natin subong, although start of election will be January 9, subong pa lang, we are now planning throughout the province what possible deployment we will be prioritizing in terms of augmentation.
Aha.
Other than that, Sir Rhod is the peculiar this time is the number of precinct. Kaya when you speak about Iloilo province, hindi lang ni municipality ang ginahistobyahan but thousands of barangay.
Yes.
No, kung i-consider natin each barangay will have its PICOS machine, then there will be thousands of barangay na dapat pagkatutukan sa ating kapulisan. What is peculiar this time is elections under pandemic. Now, in as much as wala man isip ginapangayon natin, what if although subong nasa category 2 ang Iloilo province, but there is no guarantee we could sustain this if everyone's also cooperate. It's too early to say, hindi na ni magtaas, but what if man lang na mga gina-anticipate natin si Rhod, what if magtaas na naman siya, what possible remedy that we could do? Election ba will only good for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days just to observe the IMT protocol, and that would be part of the planning process that we are preparing for this time.
Okay. So, on the other hand, what about areas nga may ara sang long history of insurgency like Tubungan, Igbaras, and Tiolas area sa San Joaquin, no? May Leon and area sang Leon. May ara bala kita sang mga ginatutukan sa sining mga kabanwahanan subong in relation to ang continuing campaigns ng Philippine National Police and the Armed Forces of the Philippines against the rebel groups, and in relation to the forthcoming 2022 elections.
Yeah, sure. Probably you are speaking about the potential facts. Well, for Iloilo province, we don't have facts, private and groups. However, there is a possibility of potential funds. And I am referring to the armed group coming from the CCP and PA.
Aha.
Nga makasiling kita toward potential funds. Probably, if they will allow anyone na magsaka dito sa ila with taxations or with campaign fund or campaign payment para sa ila, then we consider them as potential funds. Kasi magiging bias ang ila tatar sa sino man na kandidato kay they will be selecting candidates. Most likely, kaya lang nilang magsaka o pagka-supportaran. And that is one among considerations that we have discussed. Ginasiling mo, if there is any preparations about, I think, Kirtland, the barangays and municipalities considers insurgent problem. Amo na ang isa kagina tutukan sa atong kapulisan, joint with the Armed Forces of the Philippines and other law enforcement agencies, how we are going to secure elections at the same time to protect our local candidates, particularly comes the campaign period.
Aha. Okay. So at least mainik this early ginabantayan na kag ginalantaw na sa mga otoridad ang mga possible movements sa nagahilapit nga na piniliay. If I may move to the Claire Jergos case, I know may designated spokesperson ng SIT but as the head and the main man who calls the shots sa bayan sang IPPO, may latest or may bag-o bala kita nga development in so far as the investigation is concerned, Colonel Gorero?
Sir Rhod, yesterday our spokesperson releases a cartographic sketch. Ang pamangkot sa kaduman is they are the suspect or they are the witness. Maybe both. Maybe they could be a suspect or maybe they could be a witness. But the problem with our investigation this time is that there is difficulties on the part of the SIT because of the absence of direct witness. Ibagid bala, Sir Rhod, ang ka-investigasyon. Kung mayara kita direct witness. When we see direct witness, somebody could really speak what really transpired in the commission of the crime. But in the absence of direct witness, just like any seasoned investigator, other than corroborative and the process evidence, I am referring to expert evidence or science evidence that are being processed. Medyo mabudlayan kita sining mag-solve. And on our case, we are corroborating with the process evidence or science evidence that we have taken in the crime scene, corroborating with the statement of our witnesses. At the same time, possible evidence that we have recovered from the first crime scene to the second crime scene. Although I am in full trust of the SIT investigation. In fact, may nagpalabot sa aton na reklamo sa mga witnesses na ginabalik-balikan sila for how many time, but it's part of the strategy and part of the continuous investigation of the SIT. Kaya may kita uli na hagip ng isa ka information that leading to the investigation. Again, we have to go back sa aton witnesses to confirm either or not nakita nila ni siya. Kaya ginasiling naton Sir Rhod kagina. We do admit, wala kita direct witness. And only circumstantial and process evidence that we have that will help us constructing the crime scene. And of course, later on, that would guide our SIT to identify the probable suspect.
Okay. Madumduman naton, Colonel Gorero, there was this story that came out in all outlets diri sa aton sa probinsya sang Iloilo nga may ara sang footage and recording sa dashcam sang nasambit nga salakyan. Hindi bala clear ang identification sang tingog and at the same time identification sang itsura, or was there a video at all sa nasambit nga dashcam or wala?
Sir Rhod, I did not personally seen the dashcam or even video footage you're telling. But we, after SIT, I think PDRED, check what possible footage we could submit to RACO for enhancement. Amo nang ginpadala nila. And accordingly, di ko naman pwedeng tagan interpretation ang ginapalabot sa aton sa SIT without, of course, result coming from the RACO. Ano gid ang ila nakuha dito as evidence, beneficial or helpful in the investigation of SITs to support the corroborative evidence that we have.
Oh, I see. So now, this will be the first time that we will be talking about sa sining kaso ni Claire. May I know kung sa reports ng SIT sa imo talatapan may ara na sila sang na-identify na principal suspect and at least 2 or 3 more accomplice, and ang problema kulang na lang kita sa witness, as you said, nga makatudlo, which para sa inyo would weaken the case in case ini nga i-file na sa korte.
It's too early to make a conclusion, Sir Rod. The investigation is still going on in at much as I don't want to distract the investigation of the SIT as to the identity and to the number of suspects. Kay budlay bala ang pag isa ka investiga without supporting documents or evidence. Well, we accept opinion and interpretation of anyone, even the expert. But in the investigation, it's another story. Because when we investigate, we always rely on the evidences and testimonies that would really support our contention. Now, we are still waiting for the other process evidence that we have, Sir Rod. I think kung makuha ni natin siya, that would guide again the SIT to do confirmations of possible suspects that they have in their mind. And sa ginaganisiling ganin natin, this investigation is slowly, but rest assured, we see to it that all evidences that we could give will also be accepted in court. Ang ginaaway natin sa buong Sir Rod, in the absence of direct witness, is how we gather process evidences that are accessible or admissible in court. Naman,
Dali lang, nag-lag ang connection with Colonel Gorero. Ginadistoryahan natin ni natuhoy sa... Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Ang matabusin is the case will be dismissed. Dahil hindi ginabaton sa aton na husgado ang ebidensya na ginasubmit sa aton investigador.
Now, hindi man siguro ma-deny sa aton nga mga viewers kag sa mga nagabantay sa sining kaso ang nakaandan na naton nga ginahambal that once there is a crime or there was a crime committed and there was a delay or there is a delay sa mga pag-resolve sini, that would be tantamount to pag-deny sang hustisya sa naigo sang krimen. Now, in fact, malawig-lawig na gidman since the crime happened and until now wala pa gid sang clear nga direksyon kung saan ma-file ang kaso. May we know from the perspective of the heads ng agency nga nagabantay sinitanan, mga pila na ka% ang investigation sa aton sining mga otoridad, Colonel Gorero?
Sir Rod, I always agree to the common saying, justice delayed, justice denied. That's true. In fact, kita mismo nagasiling kagina na in the absence of the direct witness. Wala mo, Sir Rod, sa pagpalamati natin subong, kung may ara lang siya direct witness, maybe wala ning mabutan 24 oras, baka na-file natin ang kaso. Kaso, ang pinagkaiba sini is that even the identification of the first crime scene, it took for how many days? 5 days. On my career as a police officer for almost 25 years, I think this is the first time that I encountered this kind of crime. Kung sa diin ang krimen, tingwaan nga itago, limpyuhan, and in as much as gustong ipatalangon ang aton investigating team. In fact, the first time na-discover natin dito sa Barangay Nyayangan, there is Santa Barbara, we believe na ang crime scene was the recovery sa salakyan na Rhod. So, only then to find out after the process of the crime scene. Di mo man siya aming mga balaan dayon-dayon mag-insigida to declare na this is a secondary crime scene. without the process of the recovered vehicle. The next day, nag-recommend ang ato na SOCO na wala sila sing nakitaan sa pamagi na ang salakyan nga nakuhaan to na recovery is considered as a primary crime scene. Imagine na, Sir Rob. Gone were the days, sa una mahilig lang ta magpalapalanto, but this time it's a process, it's a science. Dito nila na-discoveryhan na sila mismo nag-iimbestiga, hindi magpapati na ang pag-recover naton sa cadaver sa atong biktima is kundi mismo ginobrang crime, driving assault. There are a lot of things to know, kaya nga mo nang ga-post ang dili, gina-explica ko lang na tama ka lumal o tama ka kaya kung para sa amon na nag-iimbestiga, kung ang iyang salakyan kung din siya na-recover is not a primary crime scene, sa din siya natabo. So again and again, there will be a lot of questions and a lot of process na pagkaubrahon sa ating investigador with collaboration to our intelligence personnel to come up. Until such time, we considered Sir Rhod ang balay mismo sa ating biktima as possible as the primary crime scene. Despite wala kita sing nakitaan ng mga ebidensya kasi wala direct witness, much more of the katulong or ang kabuli. Until such time, SIT together with in continuous dialogue and meeting with the SOCO, we resulted to the recommendation of undergoing the luminol test. Until such time, dito napatunayan, nag-react. Actually, luminol test is the word and the job of our expert from the crime laboratory. Hindi kita masyadong familiar sini. Sir Rhod, I think I am only explaining the process kung nga medyo na nadugayan ang pag-imbestiga. Kaya ginasiling ganin natin, this is not an ordinary crime. This is a crime that really planned and with the intention na hindi siya madakpan kag itago ang insidente. And that is very challenging, of course, on the part of the SIT. Until such time na dito natin nabalaan, Sir Rhod, crime scene, the primary crime scene was the residence. And with that, dito nag-focus ang aton investigating team. From the time na natabo ang krimen until such time na nakitaan ang aton biktima dira mismo sa secondary crime scene. Meaning, with all those areas, without anyone witness, the crime was committed. Kinanglan natin makabuo sa isa ka storya or scenario how this crime was committed. That is how challenging it was. Kung pamangkutan natin percentage as Sir Rhod, we don't have the parameters of coming up, but as to witnesses na interview sa media, nabatian sa ibang tao, halos na palapitan man na naton. Kung may ara man pagid sila o may ara pagid kamo o may ara pagid nabala ng iban na makabulig sa investigation, we challenge them. We accept that anyone is entitled to conducting the investigation, but the official one that doing the investigation for filing of the case is the SIT. Pwede gid naton ma-turn over sa Talapapan kung hindi madala sa Pabiyang Municipal Police Station sa Rhod. We could also bring it to Santa Barbara or we could also bring it here sa Iloilo Police Provincial Office. Kasi may nag-contest na may ara sila mga na-interview, may ara sila sa mga witnesses na naghahambal ang muning natabo. But again and again, ginasilingan natin, so we challenge them, bring them in the proper authority para we could also do the investigations and to confer with the other witnesses and circumstantial evidence that we have.
Okay, so both silingon hindi pagid naton klaro nga mahisayran kung bala i-file na ang kaso, kung bala may testigo or kung bala klaro na ang tanan nga mga ebidensya based on this scientific process of investigation nga ginahimo subong sa aton nga mga kapulisan. How long are we gonna wait, Colonel Gorero?
Sir Rhod, we cannot say tomorrow, next week, or next month. But again, everything will rely on the availability of the process evidence. We are looking forward for the result coming from Iraqo. Sir Rhod, in fact, conversations and Facebook conversations is now under cyber warrant by our SIT. Gusto ni siyang balon, kung kuwaon lang ni naton ang ilang conversation illegally without the order of the court, then it will not be admissible in court. But we do the process. Now, kung magambal kita, sa ano ta na makuha ang conversation? Again and again, it depends on the issuance of the warrant. Next, it depends on the response coming from the telecommunication like Globe and Smart. Kaya nga, may process. In fact, Rhod, the family is with us. We do confirm it, either or not, okay na ipalang kaso with the rest are jandus. But the family is asking us why wait for the other process evidences to corroborate with the ongoing investigation, that rather filing cases would really ascertain individuals na ginatutukan sa ating investigasyon.
Aha. Okay. Mas makabig naton ironically masadya no nga sundan ang mga developments sa sining kaso as reported sa different mainstream media. May ara sang pinakaulihi driver sang pulang salakyan nagkuha sang pictures sang salakyan ni Claire Jergos few hours before ini siya nasapuan. Long hair, blonde ang driver. And the other day, kadtuan man sang mga kapulisan ang kapitan sang Inangayan, Santa Barbara because may ang ila CCTV, may selective memory sa pagdelete. No? Kung selective memory, bot silingon dako bayad. Budlay man na, mas may pagiging delete na lang tanan. Kung selective memory ang pag-delete, do makasiling ka nga grabe na napihogid ang nasambit nga krimen or na plastar gid maayo. And we can only hope nga tani hindi paguntatan sang aton mga alagad sang kasuguan i-apply ang full force of the law once nga execute na ang different warrants kung matapos na ang investigasyon kag may credible na nga porma ang nasambit nga kaso batok sa mga suspisado, Colonel Gorero.
Rhod, I agree with you, and for me, we really accept this challenge. In fact, dakunin na bagay para man sa amon profesyon as a police officer because, you know, Sir Rhod, we are really learning. This time, we could say, this is not just a movie, but this is now the reality. Ang ginatanaw lang natin sa una, magamit siyang luminol test, mag-conduct an investigation and follow-up, doon makita mo lang sa pelikula. But now we could say this time, para na kita sa reality, and little by little we realize there is always changes in terms of everything. That includes the crime of the commission or the commissions of the crime. May mga pagbago. Gusto lang natin si Rhod, gusto i-clarify ang mga mention kagina about barangay officials. Again, we are not accusing anyone, even the barangay officials, of remiss on their part. Ang gusto lang mabalaan sa SIT is to know what happened to the missing CCTV footages. Not exactly accusing anyone. Balaan mo, kung nag-imbestiga ka, si Rhod, this is the beauty. Dapat may pasunod ka kung may nakita ka, isa ka anggulo that are really a questionable one. Because if you stop mo na ginasiling mo ba, Sir Rhod, padayon ko lang, you may siling mo sa amon, you may continue the conduct of this. That's true. As long as there are questions that are lingering in our mind, as long as there are corroborative evidences and scientific science that directs the attention of our SIT, we will not stop until such time mahatagan natin ang hustisya pagkamatay sang aton biktima. I do understand everybody is really excited to know about this. Everyone wanted to know the direction of the investigation. Ang panindugan sang SIT si Rhod, if everyone is very much eager to find justice para sa aton biktima, much more with the SIT, much more the Provincial Director of Iloilo Police Provincial Office. Ako lang nagapasalamat gid with this kind of incident. What comes in my mind is that people in Western Visayas doesn't allow this kind of criminality. That's why ang aton mga pumuluyo gusto magsunod, gusto magtanaw kung ano ang ginaobra sa aton kapulisan. kay sila mismo ang mensahe na gusto nila ipalabot na hindi sila pabor sa amo nga klaso na insidente kag dapat mauntapan.
All right. With this note, Colonel Gilbert Gorero, thank you so much for the time and opportunity nga liwat ginhatag mo sa aton. Mayong hapon, sir.
You're welcome kag mayong hapon, sir. God bless.
Nabatian ang may isang IPPO, si Police Colonel Gilbert Gorero. Ini may kang tanan sa mga latest and mga updates, no? Natuhoy sa kaso ni Claire Gergos. So na hindi pagid ni sanag kay wala sang testigo, pero may mga makabig kita dalagko nga mga ebidensya. So mo ni ginasigurado sa mga otoridad. So nagalawig ang lakat sang investigasyon sa sining mga tinion. And at the same time, ang latest sa command conference ng Philippine National Police Region 6 sa diin si General Flynn Dongbo ang nag-preside as new regional director sang Pro 6. And sa Iloilo, wala na sang may na-identify nga banwa nga posible for this week ipaidalom sa areas of or area of concern. So bantayan nato ng mga developments na tuoy sini sa masunod nga mga inadlaw sa aton padayon nga pagpangalagad diri sa Iloilo Metropolitan Times. My name is Rhod Tecson, and this is IMT Conversations on IMT News.
IMT Conversations with Rhod Tecson. An incisive and sharp discussion of today's current issues. Ang pagpadayon sa duwa ka dekada nga serbisyo publiko. IMT Conversations with Rhod Tecson.